This time on Weird Wonderful Wonders with Claire Casely.
I was out with them many times, and we come across so many different things that you couldn't explain. Lights, cold, eerie noises that you couldn't put to anything. And I know fox, badger, deer, otter, I know all the sounds. Couldn't put them to anything. Just not screams. Another one, I was walking up to early one morning. Little bouquets of flowers all over the place, and I mean like this. Little bouquets all done up, nicely done with ribbons. They were no more than an inch high.
Really?
Yeah, little flowers.
Hello everyone, welcome to this fourth episode for Orbtober, which has been a month about orb encounters. For this episode, I returned to my beloved Dartmoor. I met up with a real man of the moor who calls himself Dartmoor Chris. Like myself, Chris finds great solace in the moor. I really feel that it's my medicine. My friend Henry Everett, who is a local storyteller, also joined us on the wander because, like me, he has an interest in folklore and pixie stories. Also, Chris's sheepdog, Duke, joined us for the wander. Chris has had lots of experiences of seeing Will-o-the-Wisp. It's a light that's seen over marshy areas or even in graveyards. It's been seen. In folklore, it's believed to be a light that's produced by pixies or spirits to lead travellers astray. So that's my interest in it, because it has a fairy connection. And on Dartmoor, the Will-o-the-Wisp is said to be the pixies leading travellers from the path unto their doom in the marshes on the moor. Will-o-the-Wisp has many different names worldwide. There's far too many for me to recount here, but in the show notes I've put some more information and links about Will-o-the-Wisp that you can read there, and that's on my website. He has spent lots of time walking across the moor over the years and exploring lots of different places. And I think this is the key to having these experiences is you have to spend time in them. You have to spend more than a couple of hours up on the moor for a day out. You really have to immerse yourself in it. And Chris does a lot of wild camping, and in the past has spent a lot of time walking across Dartmoor to many different places, and I'm looking forward to exploring some of these myself. As I said, I find Dartmoor a real place of solace for me. I feel a connection with it because of family connections through my grandparents and great-grandparents living up at Princetown, because they were prison families. My two great-grandfathers worked at HMP Dartmoor. I always feel like Dartmoor is a coming home for me. It's really good when I can to be able to meet with people and walk and talk with them. So I will be doing more of these locally that are nearby to where I live. And I'm sure I will get the chance to return to Dartmoor again soon and walk and talk with more people up there as well. So enjoy this episode where we walk down to Ven Falls, which is near Venford Reservoir. It's a really pretty place, very enchanting, and the waterfall plays a kind of a background sound to the whole episode, so you'll have to bear with me on that. I've tried removing the sound, but it just affects the whole quality of the whole episode. Enjoy this episode. Chris has lots of fantastic stories, and these are just some of them. If you have a spooky story, something strange that's happened to you that you'd like to share with me on the show, please do get in touch via weirdwonderfulwonders@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your stories. I also have a Patreon community called Fairy Whisperer Patron community, and it's a growing group of really lovely people that are all interested in the unexplained and paranormal worlds. I'll come back to you at the end with some closing thoughts. Enjoy this episode, and thanks for listening.
Yes, let's go down. I'm recording as we walk, so as we chat. So today I'm with Chris, Dartmoor Chris, and do you like to be known as a storyteller, Henry?
Yeah.
Like your official
You can come with that.
story.
And there's various guises I can wear.
Storyteller Henry Everett, and we're wandering down to Venford Falls, which is near Venford Reservoir on Dartmoor. And Chris has lots of wonderful stories about mines and unusual lights on Dartmoor, which we're going to have a chat about in a minute on the way. And also his dog Duke has come along as well. It's a lovely sheepdog. It's blue skies today. It's quite gentle breeze, some white fluffy clouds in the sky, and ahead of us is Sharp Tor, which is a very distinctive tor on Dartmoor. It's a bit like a pyramid, and it's the other side of the Dart from us.
There's 7 sharp tools.
7 sharp tools.
7 tools, 1 sharp.
Oh,
That's no tools.
Mel Tor, yeah. So is that because they're all pointy?
Sorry?
Is that because they're all pointy that they're called
I
sharp
don't know
tools?
why they were named.
Ah, okay.
They could have had the names changed over the years.
Yeah.
A lot of tools have lost their original names, or lost them to the Ordnance Survey misspelling them.
So, Chris, can you tell me a little bit about start off with a little bit of your background and your interest in mines, and how you got involved with mines, and then we'll come on to some of your unusual stories.
Well, I was brought up in Care.
Yeah.
And we used to have to go Sunday schools and all that lot. And when I was about 6, we were out on an outing on Dartmoor, and we were told not to go up the Start Tunnel with water running out of it.
Right.
And that's where I went. 3 of us went up there.
That's typical.
Little shorts and sandals and whatever, got soaking wet. It wasn't very deep, the water, but we kept walking. And then when we looked back, we panicked because all you could see was a pinhole of light, very small bit of light.
Oh wow.
And it was pitch black in there. We had no torch and nothing. We just kept feeling our way along. That's how I got my interest. And also, I understand from my mother's side that there were tin miners in that side of the family. They used to live in Ashburton, Buckfast-Lee. I've been underground exploring. I don't like caves. I only like man-made mines.
Mm-hmm. And how many mines would you say there are on Dartmoor?
It depends when you go. Are you talking when the ancients was tin streaming? Well, there must be somewhere in the region of known 500 thereabouts, I would say, streamworks dating back medieval, right back to, I think the earliest records we got 1192. I may stand corrected on that.
Yeah.
Tom Greaves is more of the expert on that than me.
Mm-hmm.
tin mines, probably about 100 that were sort of 1800s onwards. One of those tin mines I was talking about, 1823.
Yeah.
There's a huge map.
Yeah.
And on it is marked a fiery dragon was seen here.
That's brilliant.
And that is the north and south dragon lodes on a tin mine.
Uh-huh.
See what he's done in the water. I can't see him. You see the pool there?
Oh yeah.
That's where he'll be in a minute. And the waterfall just below the pool.
Yeah.
He's on his way down. He knows where he's going.
I'd love to swim here. I've never done that.
You what,
Have
sorry?
Love to swim here sometime.
It's
Have you
not
ever?
deep, it's about waist deep.
Yeah.
I have loads of times. There's a lot of places on Dartmoor with pisky in them, or
Yeah.
pixie.
I've been researching all those pixie places, and I'm interested in your stories about the lights that you've seen when you've been
There's so
wild camping.
There's just so many. There's so many places.
Yeah.
Because years ago we used to just backpack. There was always lights going off all around, all over. I mean,
Yeah.
like when we were walking up one New Year's Day, 1993. There were 5 of us. We were walking up, just all of a sudden there's these blues and greens going up around with the bits of red in them as well.
Gosh.
And sometimes I've got it actually on camera. I didn't see it with my eye. I got it on camera. I was down one morning. I was just messing around with the camera, doing a bit of long exposure to see what I could get. And I got a bit of a wiggly blue and green coming up from the riverbed, from above the water. And that's not long ago.
What do you think they are?
Gas, methane gas
Gas.
is escaping.
Yeah.
But how they're igniting, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand the mechanics of methane gas. But I know with on Dartmoor, it's the rotting vegetation that's doing it. And I expect it's the same in the river. All the rotting silt that's been washed down off the moors, and the peat is all built up. And that's quite often you go down there, it's just got all these bubbles coming up. Just constantly bubbles.
Oh, hello.
He wants to talk as well.
Yeah.
Say, speak. You soggy doggy. But I've just seen them all over the moors because we went up deliberately one night to see if we could see any, and we got them. Really? I don't know if I got old conventional photographs somewhere, and I've got thousands upon thousands. They're all in 2 big boxes, and it's a big cupboard.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. There's just so many. I mean, I've seen them down in the valleys. I've seen them up by when I was up at when you look out to the marshy ground, I've seen them in there because we go up for nighttime photography. You know, go up for the full moon, or we go up for summer solstice up there at the Stone Row. And if I get up early.
Is it better to see them at night? I guess with the lights and stuff.
You won't see them very well in the day.
Yeah.
You could sit up there, but you need to just concentrate on an area, focus around a big area,
Okay.
not just in one spot. You need to a wide vision, and all of a sudden you'll just see a.
Can you see it from quite far away?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
carry on, Henry.
Yeah.
No, ask away, I was going to
No,
say.
you start getting hundreds of people traipsing all over the moors, camping and wild camping and
Yeah.
leaving messes, because that does bug me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I don't mind leaving footprints, but that's about it. It's very hard because I've had so many different experiences, not just the Will-o-the-Wisp or jack-o'-lantern,
Yeah.
or what is I can't remember the Latin name for it. Igneous valley, something like that. What is it?
Ignis Fatuus, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Aurora Borealis, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never seen that on Dartmoor. That's on my bucket list. Put it on camera because the sensors are far better in your eyes. I mean, you mentioned some things, and it will wake up something.
What do they look like? The lights, are they round or are they?
No, they're not
different
orbs.
shapes? No.
No, they're just like a. They're not like. They're just a little.
Because there's a story about someone seeing pixie lights up near Chagford and hearing music as well.
Probably a rave going on somewhere. There's always a logical reason. There's always a logical explanation.
It could be.
You've been amazed. I was up at Stone Circle one night. We were doing actually, I was up on my own.
Yeah.
And I heard music, I heard lights, but it was people. Cause they walked past, they had their phones with a speaker, and it was quite loud. They were quite surprised to see me there. But I got a photograph of them. They wanted me to take a group photograph of them all, which I did. Because theirs wasn't working without all the lights with the cameras, and I've got mine, which I do on a low, high ISO on it. And plus I do light painting as well.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen orbs of light on Dartmoor. I've seen different lights. Sometimes it's hard to explain what they were because you don't know. There's been no people about, and it's bright lights. I wouldn't say they were orbs. They were like a flash. And I couldn't tell you whether they were round or what, whether they were upright, because all it is like you're walking along, watching the ground, and also get. Now, is that my headlight flashing off something? I mean, was there a broken bottle there or something? I don't know. As I say, I look at everything with different perspectives.
Yeah.
To find it, to see, so I don't get myself all worked up inside. That's something untoward's going on.
Yeah, I know. It's good to keep an open mind, but sceptical as well, isn't it? To be open-minded, but also to think about what the possible causes could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be an answer for everything.
Yeah.
There has to be an answer. There has to be an answer for everything, even though it may be unexplained. But somewhere there will be an answer.
Yeah.
Whether us humans know it or not, or whether it was our makers, the aliens.
Well, that's another theory, isn't it? It could be. Yeah.
Well, I do a lot of watching videos on like Egypt and all these weird places.
Yeah.
Is it the Mayans or something? Peru area, or where the big pyramids, the same thing as like Egypt? I love watching all that.
Yeah. And all of those pyramids are made of granite, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
and why is that
like
then?
on Dartmoor. You wonder if some of these...
All of the main middle of Dartmoor is granite. It's only when you get to the edges you get the metamorphic aureole.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the granite was laid down, put up, whatever you want to call it, 290 million years ago, approx. That's what they're saying. In the southwest, we've got 7 granite bosses. We've got 7 bosses of granite, like Hingston Hill, Dartmoor, Bodmin, Carmelis. We've got the Frightly, which is beyond the Scillies and the sea, and we've got other pockets of granite as well. We've got 7 bosses of granite down through. I used to collect rocks and minerals, so I know a lot about rocks and minerals as well.
Wow. Can you share something about the properties of granite?
Yeah, muscovite.
Yeah.
Feldspar. Can't think of the main one. Mica.
Okay.
There's mica, muscovite, and something else I can't think. But you know what the feldspar is, don't you?
I don't know much about it.
They're
no.
like elongated, like a slaty material, but light.
Yeah.
That's what turns to clay. When it kaolinises, it turns to clay.
Oh yeah.
And in some areas of Dartmoor, when you've got granite that's rotting, it's called growing.
Right.
And then it will kaolinise and turn to clay. And there are quite a lot of pockets of clay on Dartmoor. I don't know if you've ever heard of Red Lake Tip.
I've not, no.
No, well, Red Lake has got a big conical pile, and that's all clay waste. And they've got a big lake, which used to be a big pit. Same as like you've got it, King Staten, with all your clay pits there.
Yeah.
Down by the race course, opposite side of the road to the race course, you've got all the clay pits down for there. That was all granite that rotted.
Is the China clay something different?
Sorry?
Is the China clay something different?
I don't know the processing of clay. It's not been my interest.
Yeah.
But I know clay is used in a hell of a lot of things. A lot of things. Even toothpaste and stuff. It's amazing what clay is used in.
Yeah. And you shared a story with me about your dog, Duke, being scared by
Oh,
something.
we don't know.
Yeah.
I was up one night with a friend of mine. We were doing the Milky Way photography over the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And Duke does his normal thing. He doesn't leave me too far, just sniffing around. All of a sudden, he went into fright.
Yeah.
All his hair was stuck up.
Oh.
And he was barking like I've never heard since. I've never heard him bark like it before or since. And he was really going. And I walked down, trying to reassure him. And as I got close to him, the air turned absolutely freezing cold.
Yeah.
All my hairs on my hand, my neck, everything was really cold. And I said to Sean, Sean, come down here a minute. He said, why, what is it? I said, just come down a minute. So he left his camera. He walked down, he said, whatever. Right, that's cold, isn't it? I said, yeah. He said, oh, that's a spirit. I said, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I said, whoever you are, God bless you, rest in peace. And with that code was switched off. It was just like a switch. Yeah, that is one, but I've had others like that, but without a dog. We were walking back from, and just before the gate, there was no mist line around or anything. And it's just like I walked into a freezer and they shut the door. It was bitter. But when I walked through the gate, when I walked through the gate, it was gone. And I was with 4 other people that experienced that. Yeah, I mean, we used to be known as the famous 5 letterboxers.
Wow.
No, that's why we know so much. And I was out with them many times, and we come across so many different things that you couldn't explain. Lights, cold, eerie noises that you couldn't put to anything. And I know fox, badger, deer, otter, I know all the sounds. Couldn't put them to anything. Just not screams. You know when I was walking up to her early one morning, little bouquets of flowers all over the place, and I mean like this. Little bouquets all done up, nicely done with ribbons. They were no more than an inch high.
Really?
Yeah, little flowers.
Lovely.
Oh
They were like purple flowers that you don't get on the moor. Very little purple things that you never get on the moor. Another thing is you walk up the track just before you come to the end of the wall. All along that fence, you get all the fly agaric up there, and you quite often get little petals up there, which are out of place. They're out of place. I've got photographs of them somewhere at home. I notice everything. I just love it.
That's so magical, isn't it, to see these things and think, where did that come from?
I don't believe in anything in particular, but I don't disbelieve anything.
No, yeah.
Everybody to their own, believe what they want.
Yeah.
But I know, like the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, there was a lot of, how can I put it, scaremongering with weird stories.
Yeah.
And you've got to remember, legends all start with something.
They do, yes.
And
always a kernel of
over
truth.
time, they get made bigger and bigger and bigger. Like the times we were out, all the tourists coming out. Oh, can you see the village is the water low enough to see the village under the reservoir? I'm like, well, there's no village under this reservoir. Oh yes, there is. It's on the news. And I'm like, there isn't. If you've done your homework, well, on National Library of Scotland maps, look on the 16th maps before 1895, you would see all you've got is Esworthy Farm and the bridge at the bottom with the sea stones, the Canterbury stones. So that's all you've got in there. No village, no church with steeple and all that. That's what they're all looking for. You said about all these orbs, so what reports have you got of orbs and light then on Dartmoor? You're talking of balls of light.
Well, this is from folklore about people seeing jack-o'-lantern and it being like little balls of light that people see, and then they say it's the pixies leading them off the path, being pixie-led. This is from old stories.
I have never seen a ball come out the ground. I've seen it's just basically like like if I had a mouthful of gas from a gas lighter or something, I'd just like that. It's like that.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is. And I have got photos somewhere, but they're distant and they're old conventional, because I only had a cheap camera back then.
Yeah.
So you've basically got a big picture, a little bit of green and blue and that, and a little odd bit of red in there in the middle. And that's methane gas escaping. But why it's lit or colour, I can't tell you. Whether it's something to do with the vegetation, I don't know.
How about the dragon story with the mine? What do you think that was? Why do you think people called that a fiery dragon? Was it
A fiery dragon?
Yeah.
Well, that was the miners, but they're superstitions. Miners had superstitions. If you heard an owl, you wouldn't go underground.
Oh.
There's different things like that. If you saw hair running or something, they wouldn't go. There was always these superstitions, and they just marked it on the map. Just look up to see, because you got Pixie's house, Pixie's cave.
Yeah.
And you got lots of places on Dartmoor. I can't remember all the names, like where the Pixies dance at midnight.
Yeah.
And you got up there that they say that Pixies are associated with.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
What do they call them on the top of tours where the water and the wind have made
I
them?
know,
See, I'm getting terrible.
Rock basin.
Who?
Yeah, sorry, rock basin.
Rock basin, yeah, there's a rock basin on Overtour, and it's known as Mrs. Bray's washhand basin. She named it, I think.
I love that.
She used to wash her hands in that. There's a lot of rock basins around.
Oh, brilliant.
You got Devil's Kitchen. One of my favourite places. I like just going up and lying on my back and just so I can't lift my head up, looking up. I was up there one day and there was a lot of people around, and wherever I was looking, I had this film, very thin film over the horizon, this orangey film over everything. Wherever I looked, there was a film. Top of the trees, top of the tours. And I said to myself, no, this is weird. She said, why? I said, well, wherever I'm looking, I can see an orange film over everything. I said, it's a few, just a little sliver of film all over everything. I said, well, can you see it? She said, no. And then the lady beside me said, well, that's your inner spirits or something or other. I didn't know what she quite meant by that. But I do get strange tingling up my arm on a certain stone in that stone circle. Another weird story I had, thinking about it, I was coming back across, I'd been at Letterboxd there, and I'd gone out store, and I was coming back, and then I got a choice of either go up and follow the leak back around the sunny corner and back down the Whiteworks, or cut across the mire. So I decided to cut across the mire. I was familiar with the path, vaguely. I'd done it 2 or 3 times before, and then the mist was all down, and out the mist come a old boy with a long coat on with a bit of twine, a bit of like twine around, coated together, and his real deep Devonshire accent dialect type thing was like, "You be crossing the mire, boy?" I'm like, "Yes." "You follow me, boy, I'll show you." So I followed him all the way across, and all of a sudden he just disappeared. And he didn't live in none of the houses there, because it was only the end cottage that's used. The others belong to Plymouth School. It's like a outdoor activity centre.
Yeah.
Which mire was this?
Foxtor.
Foxtor.
Or Great Grimpen Mire, according to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was another one I had.
When was that? When did that happen?
I haven't Letterboxd now for about 30 years.
Right, so 30
Not
years.
properly, so it's got to be 30 years ago. It's got to be back sort of late 80s, early 90s. It was 95 I had my accident, so I haven't really Letterboxd. I've done a bit by roads for people. I've met strange people on the moor who I've not been able to, sort of like horsemen from a distance, but then all of a sudden they were there and then they weren't. And I didn't see any tracks when I went over there. When I went past where they were supposed to, where I thought I saw them, I didn't see any hoofs or anything. Whether they were there or not, I don't know. That's just one of my favourite places. There's always something strange going on up there. I think it's just the way you have this subconscious that it's a weird place.
Yeah.
Wisp hounds.
Yes.
And you hear something, even he does, because his ears go up. His ears would go up and it will look. and then you look at me, and then you look back where the noise was. It does that a lot with us. Okay, 99 times 100 is probably animals, but there are the odd one or two that, if he barks, he's letting me know somebody is coming down, I reckon.
I don't know, he's watching something.
Yeah, we were right on the moors, and we parked up cars opposite of Jay's grave. We were talking to people all over the world. But the flowers during the night had changed, and we saw nobody. The flowers had totally changed. And I don't understand why. That is a legend as well, that there's fresh flowers put on it every day.
Yeah.
And people leave all kinds of trinkets and piskies and pixies, money. I did pick up £9.97 once off the top. I gave it to the Widdicombe History Group for the church, because the vicar was there with us.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
You know the story of Kitty J?
Yes. Yeah, I know the story.
She was like a scullery kitchen maid. The farmer's son got her pregnant, promised her the earth and everything, and then rebuked her, and she lost her job because she got pregnant. They didn't believe it was a farmer's lad. She hung herself in the barn, like Canna Farm.
Sad.
And back in those days, people who committed suicide were not buried on consecrated ground, so they were always buried at the parish crossroads. That's where she is now. Well, she was, excuse me.
Yep.
I think it was in the early 1970s. They were winding the rope, and the ropeman uncovered a box with bones in it. They took the bones, done tests on them, and they were of a young female, and they were reinterred in the Widdicombe church. That's the story.
Thank you to my guest Chris for sharing his stories with Henry and I. My favourite story was his account of finding small bouquets of purple flowers not found on the moor, which were bound up neatly with little ribbons. This story really takes us out of the ordinary world and into the realm of enchantment. It's the kind of story that could have come from collections of 19th century folklore. Could the flowers be left as an offering to the pixies by someone, or was it the pixies up to their tricks? I was also struck by Chris's description of the man crossing Foxtall Mire. It reminded me of Sherlock Holmes' disguise as the old peddler man in the 1939 film Hound of the Baskervilles. Foxtall Mire is said to be the inspiration for Arthur Conan Doyle's Grimpen Mire. I've experienced meeting figures on the moor or seeing them from a distance and not knowing whether I am seeing an actual person or a spectre. In episode 3, The Searching, when I was separated from my friend Tiff by the river near to Wisman's Wood, she said that there was a figure wandering behind me. The mist was down, as in Chris's story, and we could only see a few metres in front of us by the end of that day in January. Dartmoor in the mist becomes disorientating for the senses. It truly feels as if you're in a no-man's land, a place in between. Was the old man encountered by Chris flesh and blood, a spirit acting as a guardian angel, or an echo from a past time, or even the future? I've heard tales from people meeting their future selves and only realising years later that's who they had seen. Could the figure that was following me on that day on Dartmoor, which I did not see, have been a guardian spirit? I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories in this episode. You can email me on weirdwonderfulwonders@gmail.com, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please do share with a friend and write and review. For more information, check out the show notes, and there's also information about Venford Falls and Will-o-the-Wisp. There's a link in the description. it's a spooky Halloween special next time on Weird Wonderful Wonders, and I have some treats for you. My dad, Steve, tells of a ghostly encounter which he had as a young man. Plus, on Patreon, a spooky tale that he used to tell my sister and I as a child. I will be sharing some of my grandfather's ghost stories too. I hope you'll join me for that on Monday the 31st of October. Until then, take care and remember to walk frightly, for there are many strange stories beneath your feet.